Mr. Alfonso Verduzco, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you so much, Ashish. I am beyond excited to be here with you today, man.
I'm really excited too. We're going to have a really great entrepreneurial life conversation today. One of the things I'm really excited to have you on the show about is that you're in this really amazing season of entrepreneurial journey, of this exploration of launching a new business and really putting yourself out there as a designer entrepreneur. And so I guess before we get into that, tell us a little bit about your journey, about how you got here, and then we can go from here and some of the things that you're dealing with now. But tell us a little bit about, so the listener has some background, tell us a little bit about how you got here to this moment.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, inviting me to the show. This means a lot to me.
It's going to be great.
So it has been quite a journey, to be honest. Very briefly, I am originally from Mexico, and I got to this country when I was 18 years old. So it seems that it was yesterday, but that was 20 years ago when I got here. And, when I got here, I didn't know the language. I didn't know anybody. I arrived in California to live with my sister. But, I did a lot of classes and I studied a lot of graphic design and Photoshop, and I've been artistic my whole life. And fast forwarding really fast, I moved to Colorado to study architecture. I knew that the program in CU Boulder was really, really good in architecture. So, I came here, I studied architecture, I graduated, and I realized really quickly after graduating that I just didn't want to do architecture anymore. I love the design part of it. I love the interior design. I love decorating and making spaces feel special for people in their homes. So at the time, the last 2 years of university, I got married and my wife got pregnant. So then I realized I need to move faster. I feel like I was running out of time to start making money because I had already a family, So I knew that interior design was my passion a little while back. So I looked for a job and I got a job as an interior designer for this European company as an interior design assistant. And I got trained using high-end European lines that they were coming from Poland and Austria. And I started to do that. So a little bit of my background, I started to design homes and kitchens and closets and spaces within a house really quickly. I trained and I did about 60 homes in the first year that I was working for this European company. Then I move on from there and then I start working for an Italian company. I think it's one of the best design studios in the country. It's called Studio Como here in Denver. And they do a lot of high-end everything, high-end kitchens, high-end furniture, high-end lighting. So I was a design consultant for them. And then I became the lead designer using high-end Italian brands. I had the opportunity to go to train in New York, LA, Milan several times. I attended the Salone del Mobile a few times. I visited the factories. I was at the show. I absorbed what actual high-end design meant because those Italian guys, they know their stuff. So
they set the bar.
They set the bar for the rest of the world. Honestly,
Yes.
You go to those booths in Milan
It's mind-blowing.
It's a different experience of furniture and quality of products. So walking through those booths, I always picture myself, and I had something inside of me that I knew that I needed to do something as a designer, creating my own collection, and most importantly, representing my culture and my people, but in the high-end design industry. Mm-hmm. So a year and a half ago, I quit my job. I was working for another showroom in La Jolla, California, representing Poliform again, the Italian line. And I realized that, actually, it was during COVID, at the beginning of this craziness, when I was let go of Studio Como due to COVID. And I found myself in this kind of dark place because I thought that my identity was being the designer for them. I found myself in a dark place. Like I was like, wow, I thought that this was it for me. Like I had reached my potential. Like I'm working for one of the best showrooms, training in Milan once a year, going to the show, working for homes in Aspen, Bozeman, Montana, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Beverly Hills, Bel Air. I'm like, what else can you ask as a designer being involved in these projects? And it's funny how it works that we realize that sometimes I heard one time the top of the one mountain is the bottom of the next. So I think that's where I was. I thought that I had reached the top of that mountain, and when I look around, there was another huge mountain in front of me that I started to climb. And that's when I started to kind of work on this collection, working with artisans in Mexico to create products that can be used for interior design. But I would really want to highlight them and honor them and let the world know what the artisans in Mexico can do, and they can reach that potential of craftsmanship. So that's where I am right now, launching my collection as my brand, Alfonso Verduzco Design. And my first collection is this artisanal tile that is black clay, and it's the only place in Mexico where it's a small town in Oaxaca where the clay turns black when they bake it. So it's very unique, it's very sophisticated and elegant at the same time as artisanal. So that's where I am right now.
Well, one of the things that, the way we got connected actually was I had another designer and that was trying to sell within hospitality, which is the industry that I'm in. And we talked a lot about identity, and we talked about the journey of a designer and making a brand their identity. And so that's how actually we got connected, and we had a really fun conversation about what you're up to. And so I guess share with us a little bit about how you've been dealing with that. I think shedding the identity of your old self of being this successful designer is one part of the story, right? And then the second part is then creating a new identity of now you are the brand, your products and all of the products you're talking about from Mexico, and becoming sort of this face of this collection or face of this brand. What's showing up for you as you're doing that? How are you processing that? And one of the things I talk about a lot is like one of the biggest traps that I experienced in my journey was connecting my business to my identity too closely. Right. But and this was a conversation, I think it was with Brent War. It was the episode we had a couple months ago. And I was talking to him about the same thing, is like we as business owners often identify our success or ourselves with the success of our business. Well, with designers, it's even more so. You are the product. So tell me a little bit about how you're dealing with that and what's showing up for you as you go down this path.
I think one of the most important things that I am facing is really letting the ego and that I want to be the star. I think that's for me I don't want to be the meaning of my brand. My brand, I put Alfonso Verduzco because I feel like I've been kind of fighting with this. Do I put another name? Do I put another, how do I recognize my branding?
Sure.
And I have found really powerful from other designers as well when they use your name, when they use their name. But what I'm trying to do, it's more beyond myself. Like I am truly trying to support that community in Mexico and to highlight them. And I think one of the main things that I have been dealing with lately is a lot of self-development to be able to truly understand what the meaning is for everything that I do, that everything has a meaning. And it's not just a tile, for example, in this collection, but there is history. There is so many families involved in the process. And yeah, I think for the last, I would say year and a half, I've been trying to get new disciplines within myself, new philosophy about life, to be able to face failures, face challenges, face anything that comes in front of me from a different lens. And I think that's what it has helped me a lot through this process.
As a creative or as a designer, let's say, we all as entrepreneurs want to tap into our creative energy. And for you guys, you're probably trained to do that, find inspiration, but let's say you're in a financial services industry. You may not look at being creative the same way a designer would think about being creative. But tapping into your creative, tapping into inspiration is an important skill. How do you do that?
How do I get my inspiration?
Yeah.
It's funny that I had another call with a professor of the University of Bentley. They interviewed me as well a few weeks ago, and they asked me the same question: how do you find your inspiration? And honestly, for me and personally, it comes and it goes like randomly. Right. I just have to be able to accept for them to come. For example, I was driving from picking up my daughter, and suddenly, I live in the hills, I live in the mountain. Right now we're covered with 1 foot snow, so I have to drive 15 minutes from the closest town to get to the mountain. And driving from school, I noticed like smoke coming out of this little house far away. And looking at the smoke, like suddenly I saw the smoke and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That looks so beautiful. The way that it was just coming through the air. And really observing and watching things every day that surrounds us, for me in particularly, when I don't take things for granted, but I stop and watch and let them sink in, that's where my inspirations come. And I have to just find my mind in a very kind of like an acceptance for something to develop in my brain. It's crazy how it works for me, at least. Like, so looking at that smoke, I'm like, ooh, what can I do with this smoke? That's interesting. So now I have a new tile that is gonna be joining the collection.
There you go.
They're holding the same size tile, but now they're using a piece of wood in Mexico that is called ocote. It's like they use it in hundreds of years ago to start up fires and to, those stoves, old school. It's a really waxy and it burns like super quickly. So I asked the artisan, I'm like, hey, how about if you hold that ocote piece of wood and then you start burning the tile and create some smoke marks in the tile? Can you do that? And then we started playing with it. And then we started exploring how the smoke would burn the tile and paint it. And it looks beautiful. It's my new addition to the collection. And out of just driving from my daughter's school, looking at that smoke and developing that idea and accepting that and trying to develop it, now I have a new tile that is going to be joining the collection. So it's just funny how it works for me.
Fun. I love it. I think that there's a lot of magic in that, right? Like being able to find really simple things that happen in our life or observe and be accepting of that energy. I think creative energy is everywhere. We just have to receive it.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, I guess what I'm picking up is like when we try to be creative, we're actually less creative.
Absolutely. And it has happened to me.
Does that make any sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. When I try to sketch something and I'm trying, okay, I need to design something. And I'm like with my sketchbook and I'm like, no. It never happens. But when I'm taking a shower and I'm just thinking and I let myself go and be playful and really let go.
It shows up.
Of the control shows up.
All right, let's get into the business part. You're coming up with these beautiful products. You're taking a huge leap and taking this risk. You have to sell. You have to create distribution. You need to build a real business, and you have a business now, but I know you want to try to get some scale and grow. What are some of the challenges that you've started to face and what are you doing about that?
Working in this studio in Denver, it was all about creating relationships. And one of the tools that I know that I need to put in practice is really getting in front of the right people and just being humble, being honest, being transparent, and creating those relationships. And I think my collection has a story behind each item. So creating those creative relationships and really getting in front of people is one of the tools that I know that I've been practicing and I have been doing in order to get exposure. One of the challenges I believe that I am finding so far is when you try to contact the right person, there's other 20 people trying to contact the same person.
Right, for different products or what have you.
For everything, yeah. And right now, like I'm trying to get into magazines. And luckily, like I knew the owner here in Modern in Denver. And Modern in Denver is a super well-known magazine here in Denver. And I reached out to him. I waited until my website was ready and my catalog. And I reached out to him with all the material. And I'm like, hey, now I'm launching my solo. This is my brand. This is my collection. He looked at it. He loved it. And he's like, let's do it, Alfonso. I wanna feature you and the summer edition for the magazine. I'm like, perfect, amazing, thank you. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, reaching out to people to get that exposure and that credibility. Because otherwise, it's sad to say, but it's true. You have to create some credibility in the community, especially in the design community. Sometimes otherwise you're not take seriously, even though your product can be amazing. Like for example, Brent, you know, his collection is unique, is one of a kind as well, is very particular. And I admire that from him, that he was like, you know, I'm gonna go with what I think is gonna sell and this is my passion.
Well, what I love about having conversations with guys like you guys and even Brent was that, you know, it takes a lot of discipline and identity shedding to be able to like put yourself out there and risk everything and start a brand. And I think one of the things that I've been starting to get excited about or work on is like bringing these types of entrepreneurs together and like increasing the odds of business success, if you will, right? There are things that we all learn in our entrepreneurial journey. I don't care if you're selling 100,000 in sales or 1 million in sales or 100 million in sales. Like there are different issues at every stage. But I always say that like 0 to 60 to me is the hardest part. It's the very beginning stages that are the most difficult and that where most people struggle or you know, don't get off the launching pad. And so being able to like have these conversations in more open forum, bringing community together to increase the odds of success or increase the learning curve, I think is something that has been really fun for me. And I know you and Brent have like engaged and started talking, which is I think exactly what all this is about, is that as entrepreneurs start to take this risk, like how can we increase the odds of their success, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the main things that we face when we start this process is really acknowledging that it's going to be a lot of challenges.
Yes.
And never surrender, like never give up, because it's really easy to face the first failure and say, oh, okay, well, this is not for me. Or, oh, why is this so hard? But you flip your mentality of how you face your failures. Like I was listening to another podcast and it was talking about failures. And there is not one successful person out there that hasn't had any failures. Actually, you need the failures to become the person that you want to become. You cannot just become and, oh, everything was smooth, everything was perfect. Everybody faces failures. And when you are actually, I am looking forward to have failures, because I know that after that failure, after that bump, I'm going to look back and I'm like, I'm so happy that I had to face that, because it made me better, or it maybe resolved something better. And I face this in the development on my website and the photography and the videos that I use for my website. I had a plan, my plan, right? I have my plan, my vision, everything is going to work out just perfect.
It's going to be perfect.
And then I had just listened to this podcast and the door just closed in front of me. And I'm like,
of course.
Right, that's fine. I'm so happy that it closed, because I know that it's closing for a reason. So when we actually have that mentality of facing the failure or the door that it closes in front of our eyes, but truly understanding in your heart that is because somebody, whatever, I am a faith person. I have believe in God. And I know that he was closing that door because if I just had to turn my head and he had another door wide open for me, that actually it worked out so much better for what I was trying to do. But sometimes we control things. And that was something that I struggled with a year ago. I was trying to control everything. No, this needs to happen at this time. And then I need to meet this person and that person needs to contact me with this person. But I realized that as long as I know what I want or what's my why and where I'm going, but I have a clear vision where I'm going, the how, the process is not up to me. It's not, I cannot control it. I have to be able to let the world happen. And I mean, look at it now. I went to Arizona for a mastermind. I met Jordy Clark, right?
Yep.
And then he suddenly, out of the blue, sent me this podcast. It was your podcast with Brent. And suddenly I contact Brent, I contact you, and just everything starts developing as long as we just let things happen. And that has happened for me a lot.
Well, I think that and I love that. And you're right. That's how our story connected. And I think a lot of people, and I will admit, like I'm really guilty of this too, is that in entrepreneurship or in starting your own business, you think that working harder will get your answer. Like you need to work hard and you need to put in the work for sure. But being able to like move matter with matter actually takes a lot of energy. And I think at a young age, I started my business, you had the energy. You could keep pushing and keep grinding and keep trying. But actually when you kind of step back and you become more mature, you realize how serendipitous the world is. And if you can learn how to tap into that, I think things become much more fluid and in flow. And then you add on work ethic and you add on discipline and you add on, a good mindset or a good attitude. Like it's unbelievable what you can accomplish.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And something that I would like to share with you is I heard someone said, work harder on yourself than you do in your job.
Yeah.
And that for me really changed my mindset months ago when I started to do this whole process. Because there's nothing you can do if you don't work first on yourself and you really change who you are, your philosophy of life, your new disciplines. Like I started to get up at 5 a.m. every day and I don't have to. Like I work from home and I control everything from here. But getting up at 5 a.m. and creating new disciplines, such as I stretch now for 30 minutes in the morning. And that kind of anchors me with the right mindset of how I'm going to face my day. Even though sometimes I don't know what is going to happen in my day. But I have another thing that I heard that I bring into this comment. When you bring how you see yourself in the future, and you bring those emotions to the present, it changed an energy within you that makes you have an amazing day. I started to practice this to really have these positive thoughts every morning before I get up of bed. I close my eyes. Well, they were closed, but I still open my eyes and I close them again. And I just really start thinking about the positive things that I want to achieve. And I make them feel whatever that feeling it makes in my heart. I provoke myself to feel that. And I don't get up saying, oh, shoot, I have to send this email. I have to send this to the news, to the magazine. I have to respond to this. I have to order the titles for the show, which, by the way, I'm so excited because I'm attending the ICFF in New York in a couple months. And that's something else I
think I'll see you there.
Oh, you will be there?
Yeah.
Amazing. So all those emotions, instead of focusing on the things that I have to do, in the morning I focus on bringing the emotions that I want to feel and let the day happen the way that it happens. less control is better.
I love it. Tell me, what are you hoping to achieve with your collection?
I love interior design. It's my passion. Selecting the right piece of furniture, creating an environment within a house that makes people have an amazing time in their homes. I want to create that with the collection that I am designing, but in the back end, helping that community in Mexico and different communities in different states that I'm trying to work with. I really want to create beautiful spaces, not just in homes, but I'm trying to target boutique hotels, resorts, restaurants. I really want to create a special moment for somebody that is within that space and experience something unique and beautiful.
If there's another designer out there who wants to take a leap, or maybe they're just on the verge of starting a business, or they want to leave their job and start a company, what do you have to say to them?
It's okay to feel afraid and scared and to doubt about everything that you want to do. It's okay. But that's the fun of it. I think that's just a part of enjoying the process with the fears, with the challenges. If you really have it in your heart, I think that is something that is because you're supposed to do it. And if you never explore and you don't go for it and take the leap, you're never going to know if you were meant to do that. Why not take the risk? What if? Just ask yourself, what if everything goes as I picture it 5-10 years from now? What if? The second question is, why not you? Why not you doing it? Why do you have to wait for somebody else to do the job or to come with this idea and they really have the courage and the passion and they're ready to take bruises and go for it? Why is that person not you? And I think one of the main important questions, why not now? Right? Like, why not now? Why don't you start right now? Like, I had to take that decision when I was let go of Studio Com, and then I was working for another studio in La Jolla, California. I quit. I didn't have to quit, but I quit because I felt it in my gut that I had to do something. And it was a process. It was, they said that life and business are like the seasons. And I was in a winter season for like 3-4 months. And it's okay to be in a winter season. But in that winter season, what comes after winter? Spring. There's always spring after a winter. So if you acknowledge in yourself, like you really believe you're on a winter season in your life, emotionally, in your business, in a relationship, you have to know that there's a spring, and that can be in a month, it can be in 2 months, it can be in 6 months, but you're never going to stay in a winter your whole life. You just have to take the leap and take the risk, and things will come slowly. But they said slowly is a faster way to get to where you want to be. So,
dude, you're so amazing. I just want to really honor you for living your best life, pouring into other people, and really trying to build an ecosystem. I know that's not easy, but just the fact that you're out there speaking your truth and pushing others to do the same, I think I'm so encouraged, and I wish you the most success. I guess as we wrap up, I want to ask you one final question. For you, Alfonso, what does it mean to live a rich life?
It's a very profound question, and it can go so many directions. But lately, for the self-development and everything that I've been digging in within myself, I found that living a rich life, I think sometimes it's simpler than we think. And for me, really being content, 100% satisfied with what you have, it's for me is I'm rich already. Like I feel rich, even though I'm not where I want to be in my business. I am not there yet. I will be. I know it's gonna hurt. I'm gonna have failures. I'm looking forward for them. But truly, just where I am right now, the fact that I am healthy, the fact that I have a roof under me, the fact that I have food on the refrigerator for my family to eat, that my daughter runs, she can run, she has 2 healthy legs, she's healthy. That to me is already being rich. That being rich in a business or being financially free, that's just, of course I want that. But truly life, sometimes I have seen based on the industry that I had, and sorry that if the answer is too long, but it's really true. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity to work with people that, you know, they were building second homes for $40 million, $30 million homes. And when you look at them or you interact with them, you can tell that they're not even happy with what they have. But really understanding life, walking outside, enjoying the sunshine. Like right now I have a foot of snow, going outside with my daughter and shoveling the snow and making those memory moments and enjoying, and don't take things for granted every single day of my life. Getting up in the morning, being able to open my eyes. There's people that they go to sleep and they don't even wake up. For me, just being the present and absorbing my life and appreciating what I have and being happy with what I have, I'm already a rich person.
Dude, you're romantic as hell, baby. Wife's a lucky gal. Again, man, I just appreciate our friendship. I really honor you for what you're trying to accomplish, and always here for you. Best of luck with everything. If people want to reach out to you, learn more about you or your line, we'll put it in the podcast notes, but tell us where people can find you.
My Instagram is alfonsoberduzco.design. That's my Instagram. And my website is alfonsoberduzco.com.
Alfonso, Alfonso, Verduzco, Verduzco.
Correct.
And again, we'll put the links in there, but just
amazing.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Ashish, and I wish you also the best for everything that you're doing. I know that you're doing quite a bit as well. So I wish you the best, and I know that you will be successful, and you already are, but I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you, brother. Be well.
All right. Take care.